That's why I introduced to you the mayor of many, many things. Mayor, come on up. The mayor of education, the mayor of sustainable energy, the mayor of jobs, and I can't imagine anybody more committed to trying to get people to work. And I think if he thinks if they get educated, then the workforce will be better. So let's have a big welcome for our mayor, Julian Castro.
Good morning. Well, you know, I have to tell you that when I saw on the calendar that they were having the Great Cities event on Good Friday, I was a little bit worried, especially since it started at 8 o'clock in the morning. But I want to commend each and every one of you for being here. And I want to start off by giving a hearty thanks to Dr. Romo, to Provost Zapata, to Francine Romero of the College of Public Policy here at UTSA, and to every single person here on the staff at UTSA for hosting this first important event after our wrapping up of SA 2020 and the report. It's wonderful as well to share the stage with so many accomplished scholars. I appreciate your participation, and I know that the WPSA, Western Political Science Association, is in town. We can hear the theories in the air all over the place, but we value your expertise and the wisdom that you've been able to share with us. I would be remiss if I didn't particularly single out Luis Fraga, who was my thesis advisor at Stanford. You can get a sense of the energy that Joaquin and I are still working off of with this guy. In fact, before we were interested in actually running for office, when we had started to think about what we would study at Stanford and kind of maybe think about coming home and doing something, Luis sent us on a mission in the summer of 1995 as part of one of the books that I think he's working on to go out and interview every single person who had served on the San Antonio City Council since the implementation of single-member districts. So this is 18 years at that time worth of people to interview. And we went out in the summer of 1995, and we found most of them. Everyone from Phil Pindus to Benny Ureste, Joe Alderete, Maria Berezabal, Henry Cisneros, a whole bunch of them. It was a real learning experience for us. And for me, it was the beginning of falling in love with the history of city politics and thinking about coming back home and serving in office. And so I wanted to say thank you very much, Luis, for that and for your great expertise. Well, our 2020 process was, I believe, a great model of civic engagement for San Antonio, building off of what Mayor Cisneros did 25 years ago with Target 90. We had more than 5,000 folks participate either by coming to one of the community forums, filling out a survey by mail, or filling out a survey online. And I believe that we started a great conversation and put that in writing in terms of what our city's aspirations are. What kind of city do we want to become over the next decade? And what are the marks that we need to meet in order to get there? That 2020 report is more than just a series of writings. It really is the dream of a community. And it's significant that we're here at the downtown UTSA, not only because we released the report here on March 19th, but because the downtown UTSA and the College of Public Policy was the first entity that stepped up when we asked folks to take ownership of one of these categories and said, with respect to government accountability and civic engagement, we'll take that. We'll lead this effort. We'll try and hit those marks of increasing voter turnout by 2% every 2 years and increasing the number of folks who serve on city boards and commissions and the diversity of those boards, increasing the number of folks who participate in their neighborhood association, in their PTA, in all of those things that right are at the crux of civic engagement in our community. And I applaud UTSA and Francine Romero for doing that. For us here in San Antonio, the stakes are great. I say that because San Antonio has a unique opportunity to be a leader in this 21st century. A couple of weeks back, we got the census results, and saw that San Antonio is now officially the 7th largest city in the United States. It's the 2nd largest city in Texas, one of the fastest growing cities. Our demographic looks like America's tomorrow. It really is, as we say, the new face of the American dream. It is a city that ever since Hemisphere 40 years ago has been on this terrific trajectory of growth and of prosperity. And the stakes are, can we sustain that in the generation to come and for generations after that? There are a whole bunch of moving parts that will answer that question. But one of those hinges on our ability to increase the number of folks who participate civically, who volunteer, who are active in their PTA, in their neighborhood association, in their church, in their business association, who choose on election day to go and vote and make their opinion known. And if we can get that right, I believe that we can continue to thrive economically, creating better jobs, and being the kind of community that is attractive in this 21st century global economy, in being a family-friendly, great quality of life city that we're known for. And if we cannot, I believe that we risk falling into the pit of cynicism that too many times has overtaken other big cities. I remarked a few weeks ago that when I ran for mayor in 2009, we had a 13 or 14% turnout in our municipal election. When Henry Cisneros ran for mayor in 1981, they had almost a 50% turnout in that mayoral election. I'd like to think that it's not me. I hope that it's not. But I think that in different ways, if we think about the world that we live in 2011, this world of YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and the so-called social media that I guess are social in a way, this world that has trended toward folks going home at 6 o'clock and shuttering themselves off in their home, this world where gated communities have proliferated over the last few decades, this world where downtowns across the United States have to compete more and more to draw people back, to create a common space where folks interact. Those are the challenges that I believe that we have as a big city to overcome as we seek to get more folks engaged in San Antonio. I believe that we can do it. I believe that the spirit of this city has always been special. I first got interested in running for office because I saw many of the blessings of our community, that it is a place where even though we have become big in the last 40 years, a city now of 1.3 million people, we're still a place that feels more like a community than many other big cities. On the campaign trail 2 years ago, I would often talk about the difference between walking down the street in San Antonio and walking down the street in Midtown Manhattan or downtown Chicago, that when you pass somebody on the street in San Antonio, people will still look you in the eye. That try doing that in Midtown Manhattan or downtown Chicago or the middle of San Francisco. There is less guardedness. There is more openness to human interaction, to allowing somebody else to be your neighbor, to be part of your life. That point of entry and that possibility for community, that possibility for the spark is still there in this city, even though we have grown big. And that's something that's very precious. And so the ultimate stake for us is not just that we have more folks voting for the sake of voting, or that we have more folks who join their PTA or who are able to speak their piece, because that is fundamental to our American democracy. It's not even that we create a better economic development climate. It is that we preserve that fundamental aspect of this community, of this city, of San Antonio, that has always made it stand out as against other communities in the United States. It is, in short, can we keep our identity as we move forward? And so I want to thank you very much for being here, for giving of your time, for lending us your ideas, and hopefully putting us on a path to regain the input and the participation of many of our folks throughout San Antonio in whatever way they choose to do that, whether it's volunteering, voting, in any other way. That's going to be a positive for San Antonio. So I look forward to the ideas, and in 2020, a more robust, more participatory community in San Antonio that's going to benefit all of us. Thank you.